Hello there everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at a brand new product, and that is EmoList by MysteryPK. If you've seen my other video of Outdated, this is a new app slash shortcut application that is going to let you do something very interesting with your phone as a prediction, something that I have not really seen done a lot with phones. I have seen it done a lot with cards and with actual physical products, but not necessarily in the actual phone in its native environment, something using emojis. So this is going to be an interesting review. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this or maybe learn about what it is because I think it is priced very fairly. So having said that, let's roll the intro and learn more about EmoList. Perfect, so decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about EmoList. So what is EmoList? EmoList is essentially a prediction of any thought of name, place, object, movie, etc. using emojis in your Instagram bio or in your notes. So that's essentially what the effect is. I think the best way to also describe it, it's snaps by David, Jonathan, and Dan Harlan in your phone. I think that is a great way to kind of describe the effect that's going on here. But essentially I won't be able to perform it, but I will still be able to give you a mock presentation of it. So essentially what you're going to be doing is you're going to have your phone on the table in full view, and you're going to tell the spectator to open their phone and to go search something on Wikipedia or on Google, and then they're going to be doing that. So then you tell them, okay, perfect, so you've searched for that, now close the tab, but just keep what you've searched in mind. Everyone's seen it, correct? I want you to now go on your phone and go on my Instagram. Can you open up my Instagram account? You're gonna give it the name, and on your Instagram account, there's going to be in your bio written, for example, I know that you will be thinking of, and then a list of emojis. I hope I got this right, for example, and they're gonna be like, okay, but this doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. And say, look at it a bit differently. Look at each first letter of the emoji. What does that spell? And then when they realize that, it spells the exact thing that they looked at. Reactively also, that can be done in your phone. So with the presentation I showed you, your phone doesn't have to be in play. But if you do want to do it with your phone, so instead of having it on Instagram, you tell them, look, we're going to open up my phone and I want you to go in my notes and look at the most recent note that was done like yesterday. Can you open it up? They're going to open up the note, and in the note is going to be saying the same thing as it would in your Instagram bio, but in your notes. So instead of doing the prediction on Instagram, you're doing it in your notes. So that is the two ways that you can perform this effect. So now that we know that, let's talk about where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. So you can buy this directly from MysteryPK. As with Outdated, I will have the link down below. This has two price points. So one of them is 25 USD, and that will let you have the app itself, which is going to let you do the Instagram prediction. So if you only want to do the Instagram prediction, that is the option for you. It's going to let you do the Instagram prediction on both iOS and Android, as long as you have Hydra with its Pro Tools. So as long as you have Hydra with the API capabilities, you will be able to do the Instagram prediction with no problem whatsoever. However, there's also the second option, which is the notes option. So you're going to get the Hydra option and the notes option, and this is for iOS only. So the second option is $10 more, so it's $35. You're getting the main app and the necessary extras to do the notes prediction on iOS only. So you have these two variations that are open to you. So now what do you get with your purchase? So first, for both purchases, you're going to get a PDF that's going to explain everything that you need to know in regards to how to set it up, how to get everything rolling. It has video files in it as well that goes over tutorials telling you everything that you need to know. It's incredibly detailed, incredibly well explained. Then for the first version, you're going to get the EmoList app. So on the EmoList app, you're going to get your API and your different input methods. So this comes with four different input methods. One of them is going to be inject. So if you own inject, you're going to be able to do this with inject. One is going to be with Wikitest. So if you have Wikitest with the Pro Tools option, you're going to be able to use that as your input method for this effect, or Ellipse. So if you have Ellipse, you're going to be able to use that with, again, this app in order to get your predictions sent to either your notes if you buy the second version or on your Instagram. And the fourth method is a manual one. So let's say you do not have inject, you do not have ellipse, you do not have wiki test. There is a manual option where you're gonna have to manually input on your phone the prediction if that is something that you want. I think it is much better to have one of the apps do it, because the manual input, you know, you're typing something on your phone, so it's gonna raise suspicion for your spectators. So it is something to keep in mind, but it is there for you if you don't have it. So that's what you get with the main version. For the second version, you're getting the exact same app, the exact same input methods, and the exact same structure, except you're going to get an extra little piece of information that's going to let you be able to do the prediction on your Notes app. Personally, I really like the Notes app version. I always like when it's native on your phone, when it's on just your normal notes. I do like the Instagram one as well. I think it is brilliant, but I'm always someone that I don't really push my Instagram a lot. I think it's, you know, I've kind of let it die down a bit. I'm kind of trying to revive it, but for the moment, I really like the native Notes app integration for iOS only. So that's the way that I've been performing it. I think it's very fun that way as well. So having said all of this, I think you understand where you buy this, how much does it cost, and what do you get. Now let's talk about difficulty. So how difficult is this to perform? This is incredibly easy to perform. It requires almost no work on your part because the other apps are doing everything. So the difficulty depends on your prowess with inject, wiki test, or ellipse. That's pretty much it. So those three apps are going to be the ones that do all the work for you and set up everything for you, the final prediction, the peak, everything. Those are the apps that do everything for you. And of course, if you want to do it with the manual input, it is going to be a bit harder because you're essentially, you know, going to have to justify why you're typing something on your phone, but you can also do it with an accomplice or someone at the event and have them type it when someone says it, and it goes directly into your Instagram or into your Instagram, for example. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so difficulty-wise, it depends on the actual apps that you use or not. Now let's talk about practicality. So how practical is this? Well, in terms of carrying capacity, all you need for this is, well, your phone and your spectator's phone with internet. That is all that you need. For some versions, as I mentioned, you don't even need to necessarily have your phone in play. It can just be standing in your pocket. But for the Notes app, you do need to have your phone because you do need to reveal the prediction in the actual Notes app, right? But except for that, it is pretty much all you need for practicality. In terms of repeatability, this can be repeated as many times as you want. In terms of inspectability, this can be inspected. It's the native notes on your app. On the Instagram, it's the native Instagram. And the only thing is you have to consider is, depending on the input method that you choose, you have to deal with the cleanup of those respective methods retroactively. In terms of angles, this can be done pretty much 360. The angles are great for this. In terms of table, you do not need a table at all as well. Now let's talk about where you perform. So where did you perform EmoList? Anywhere that you perform your main kind of phone magic, you can perform EmoList. So as long as you perform you like to perform magic on stage, go for it. Perform EmoList on stage. It's going to be perfectly fine. So if you want to do it, in a close-up, do it in close-up. So essentially anywhere where you would perform and feel comfortable performing phone effects, you can do EmoList as well. So having said all of this, let's talk about the positives and negatives. So first of all, let's talk with the negatives. The negatives of EmoList are there's just one that I found, and it's getting used to the prediction and getting the spectator used to the prediction without confusing them too much. Because this, as I said, is similar to something like Snaps, where the actual images reveal letters for you to be able to get to the prediction, but it's not in the sense of Snap. So for example, the emojis aren't going to be spelling the letter, right? As in Snap, the word or whatever, as in Snaps. The first letter of every emoji is going to be what spells the word. So that's something important that you have to keep in mind. So to not get confused, and it's important also to get your spectators on board with that really quickly, because I've had in the weekend, I've done this to someone and they've chosen the word Tottenham. I mean, the place in England, Tottenham, and that's a very long word. So, at the start they were like, okay, but these emojis have nothing to do with what I said. But I said, look, what is the first letter of the first emoji? They were like, oh, it's a taxi, it's T. And then eventually they got, they clocked it then. So it's just because the prediction won't be obvious, at a first set of time, and it's important that you don't get your spectators thinking that the prediction will mean something different. So you don't want them to think it's something like snaps where the emojis are going to be spelling the word, right? Because if they think that and then you change the script and you say, oh, it's the first letters, it may confuse them. So it's just important you set the parameters straight into how you want them to understand what's going on. Make sure you're clear on that and it should be fine. It's not a major negative, but it is something to keep in mind because the prediction is so new and it's such a new way of kind of predicting things. It's important to make sure everyone is on the same page. But now regarding the positives, one, the instructions are great, what you receive is great. The price point for this is very fun. The routine is incredibly cool and incredibly trendy and modern. Having it's very good to have it on Instagram. It can promote your Instagram if you're into that. It's relatively well priced. It's easy to do. You can perform it in a lot of settings. And most importantly, it's original. So it's an original way of revealing a prediction on your phone, which is the most important. So having said all of this, would I recommend EmoList and what do I rate it out of 10? Would I recommend EmoList? I think yes, if you are a family entertainer or someone that's, that's into this type of things and would do more casual reveals, etc. I think this would be for you. It's going to be offering you a very interesting way of using this, especially if you already own Hydra. I think it's a brilliant way of using Hydra. However, this won't be for everyone. So I wouldn't ever see someone like Louis Laval or Lance Burton or Michael Vincent or Jason Ladany or someone like Luke Germain use emojis as their reveals in their notes app or on their Instagram bio, right? So it really depends on you, how you interact with technology, how comfortable you feel with emojis, if you're using them, it really depends on your personality. For me, I use emojis, so that would work. I could justify it and make it play well. So it really depends on you as a performer, especially on Instagram. I think there's a ton of Instagram magicians that would rave about this and enjoy it a lot. So it really depends based on your crowd as well. If you're performing this to like some 18, 19-year-olds, they're gonna go crazy for it. If you're performing this to like a group of 50, 60-year-olds, I don't think they're gonna be like that impressed by this, right? So it really depends on certain factors, but I do think this is still a really good app. Having said that, what do I rate it out of 10? I'm rating EmoList an 8.5 on 10. I think it's very good, especially for the price point, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value from this. So I do think it is worth it, the money and worth a purchase, or at least a look at if you're interested. So having said all that, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you have any comments, leave them down below. If not, I'll see you all in my next review. Have a great one, and bye-bye.